talk about Last of Us. And for those of you who didn't watch my last video, there'll be a link. I'm not a gamer, don't know anything about the game, not going to learn about the game. More than happy to hear your feedback on things as I have questions or things I think work or don't work, and you tell me how they're straight out of the game. Fair enough. Episode 4, The Last of Us. I have to tell you, episode 3 was such a major letdown for me because it was just a whole lot of filler with the whole Bill Frank thing. I don't understand why. Maybe they needed to die for the story to move forward. That's part of the game. I don't know. It seems like it would have been better maybe to have the characters carry on, but Frank was ill, and then you had something like this come to head later on. Would have made more sense, but just it seemed like everything was very shoehorned in. And here we ended up with a whole lot of screen time of filler, even though I can appreciate it's a lot about the relationship between Joel and Ellie and their bonding, because at this point, Ellie has been sort of like this off-putting little brat teen. And in this one, she starts to become at least a little bit more endearing, so to speak. It does pick up quickly with like the pew pew jokes of, because she stole a gun from Bill's. He was the crazy prepper. And the bonding works pretty well. Just the idea that she has no idea what the world is like, the fact that this is the second time she's been in the car and everything is so new to her. Now, I will admit, I don't understand, like, why did we have to have like the male adult magazine and the pages stuck together joke? Like, is that out of the game or not? Because it seemed just rude and crass and becomes like, it seems like it would have been easier for it to just be some other type of thing to connect with audiences, that it just shows how she doesn't know what it is. Whereas it becomes like an adult topic that makes Joel just feel uncomfortable. Like, that didn't work for me. I had to take some notes, guys. Sorry, bear with me. The pun book was kind of funny. It was a little overdone, but I will like the fact they did a nice callback at the very end. That was very good. But yeah, it was just like everything was very tedious. With everything was like tell. It was just showing. There was no showing. It was just them bonding and talking and bonding and talking. And it just seems like pages of script just went on and on and on and on and on. There was a montage, though. I liked the fact that they drove past like buffalo grazing and an amusement park that was abandoned, and they had little things like that. And then I will say, when they got to the woods, I felt like we were in like a total Walking Dead episode of, okay, well, we need to fear people more than we need to fear zombies. And I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I don't know if this is supposed to just be something that is very Walking Dead derivative or not. It definitely felt that way. And then when we got to the interstate blockade, where the cars, they can't get around, they have to go into the city, I feel like we're definitely in a Walking Dead episode, and they're definitely going to run into humans, and it's definitely not going to go well. And that's pretty much what happened. I can tell you, I thought it was just like 3 faceless people that ambushed them. I don't know why we didn't maybe have some sort of way of us caring about any of those characters. And I really don't care that they're dead. I mean, I guess I'm supposed to care about Brian, because Brian ultimately is, well, before we get to that scene, we have introduction of Kathleen, who I guess is Lady Boss, and she's being mean, interrogating a doctor who is working with what it's called Fedra, which is basically the government officials who basically were like authoritarians, coming up with this idea. They brutally were, taking control of the situation and got neighbors to turn on neighbors. The doctor evidently rolled over on somebody. She's wanting information on where that individual is. His name is Henry. And then, of course, when you get to the dead bodies being shown up, and there's like, Brian, let's talk about Brian. And I'm like, I guess so. I don't really know about Brian. I feel like I was in the episode of Kenobi with R.I.P. Wade. That's my joke, right? Like, we're supposed to care about Wade, who we didn't know Wade's name. Like, maybe his name was Brian. You tell me so. Sure. I just don't really connect to Kathleen at all. She doesn't look the part. She doesn't seem like she is this hardened, tough gal that would be the one that would rise to the top in the middle of an apocalypse like this. It just didn't make any sense. So there's some sort of paranoia around this person named Henry and protecting someone named Sam. And she has an assistant, the second in command dude, going around. They find this little place where there's like this crater that's moving, but they're going to keep it secret because, okay. I mean, it look, I can say that the quality of the show, the set pieces, and the immersion of the world has been very, very good. But we end up having 2 or 3 pieces along the way that are almost like major stumbling blocks to what they want to try to get to next. They're just not done particularly well. I will say that it seemed Joel and Ellie seemed believable in how all this was happening. I just wish that like the ambush stuff was done a little bit better. Maybe there was more people that ambushed them, or they had to come up with more clever ways of escaping. And Ellie saves him. You know, Ellie can do no wrong. She's the key to everything. Like she finds clues and she saves Joel, and it's like, oh, okay, it's not bad. It's fine, but it's just that it's only fine. By the way, when Kathleen goes to kill the doctor, like she has this scene, the dead bodies show up, then she runs back inside, opens the thing, and just shoots into the room. It was the least, like, first off, if you needed a doctor, why would you be killing the only doctor that you allegedly have? There's not like torture of the doctor. There's not like, I don't know. It just, all of this just seemed like almost like PG-13 version of what we should try to be going for, which is kind of interesting because it's HBO. It's HBO. Yet at the same time, we have to make like adult magazine jokes, and it's like, okay, that, you know, 2 and 2. We're not getting 4 though. So the show is fine. I think the acting and performances are fine. I mean, Kathleen, I think it's just miscast. Like I just don't see it yet. Maybe there's more to come with that. Just some sort of backstory about her brother who was tortured to death by the federales, and therefore the doctor should have known better or something. Henry's the one that turned the brother over, and he's to blame, I guess, is the story. I'm picking up some breadcrumbs and trying to fill them in my head. I'm not quite sure I get it. The episode was a little bit shorter. It was like 45 minutes. So I wish that maybe the ambush scene or maybe some of these other details were kind of flushed out or hammered out a little bit. This episode it just felt very slow and sluggish. And then they kind of like, I don't understand why we had to have the crater scene if we're not going to talk about it. We could have just had something like that maybe happen later on, or we have someone else stumble upon it, or I don't know. It seems like there's just little things along the way that just, it got clunky. It got clunky. The reason the show's doing well is because it's just not a bad show. It's just an okay show. It's slightly above average. I don't think it's nearly on the level of like House of Dragon, let alone like Tulsa King or some shows that have been very superior in the last 6 months to a year. The show is just very solid, and then just has some issues that, you know, we'll presume will continue to pay off and shake out. No world building, though. I really don't know if that's part of the game, and that's kind of how this is going to work. Is it mostly just about Joel and Ellie doing things? Because I really don't care about Kathleen and all these people. Maybe Kathleen will be a villain and she's an antagonist for a while, and that gets set up a little better. But he'll talk about Tess. He talked about Marlene. He even talks about Tommy, who was in like, I mean, that was Gabriel Luna, right? The guy that played Ghost Rider and the Dark Fate Terminator. And it's like, I don't care about Tommy. I don't care about Marlene. I don't really care about Tess. It's just like these expendable characters that come and go, and we slough them off and move on. So I don't know, maybe that changes a little bit. I'm just missing it as somebody who doesn't quite have enough context, but that's my general take on it. You guys can tell me what you think, if I'm way off base or not. I'm sure you will tell me. Anyway, thanks for watching. I am Pops.